I'm Adam and I'm from Cycling 2. This video is going to take you through how I edit and make one of my vlogs. I'm going to go through a recent vlog I've made in Vietnam and show you my workflow, my processes, my thoughts and how I put the video together. I've been travelling through Southeast Asia with my wife for 7 months now, and we travel by bicycle and we film it and put all our episodes here. So if you haven't seen any of our other episodes, I'd go back, go to here, and you can watch our very first episodes, and you can watch all, I think I've got about 30, 40 episodes out so far. Firstly, if you haven't seen this episode, I would go back and watch the episode here. It's only 9 minutes long, pretty good vlog. It's about us leaving Vietnam and entering Laos by bicycle. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that first, then come back here and then you can see how I made it. It's like a behind the scenes. So the very first scene that I start with is an establishing shot. I want to start and show you where we are. So I'll just play that now. We only have 15 days to cycle through the north of Vietnam, so we entered for free with the visa exempt entry. So there you go. So really quick establishing shot. But that establishing shot there's coupled with some music. It's like an acoustic, soft acoustic music. The way I choose music for my episodes, it differs, but usually I'll put the footage together first and then I get the music afterwards. I already have an idea of what music I want when I'm either in the editing process. Sometimes even as I'm filming it, I think this music will go well with this. It's always different every time. Sometimes I don't know what music I want and I'll just listen to a lot of music until it comes right. I get all my music from Epidemic Sounds. I pay £10 a month and subscribe for that. And I find it really useful, really helps. I couldn't make these videos as easily without that. And it's all copyright free, so that's what I use. When I go from the establishing drone shot that I've got here of this paddy field, I then move into a shot of Lucia cycling. I think within the first 10 seconds of our videos, I try to get a cycling shot in there quickly. I think it tells the audience we're cyclists, we're cycling in somewhere exotic. They'll know that from the thumbnail and what they've already clicked, but they'll have a very quick idea of what we're doing. From there, I move on to a city time-lapse. After spending 5 nights in Hanoi, the clock was well and true. So that quick time-lapse there is made with a GoPro. It's, I put a GoPro on top of a box just on a city intersection, and you can see the shot is panning from left to right as I play that. 1 second. After spending 5 nights in Hanoi. So it's panning left to right, and how I've done that, I'll just show you. If we look in the top right here, where it says transform, I've zoomed in slightly, I've scaled the shot in. If I scale out, you can see I've also rotated the shot very slightly because it was slightly wonky, but about 123% of its normal scale. And I've also put some keyframes in. I'll just show you the keyframes. So yeah, within here, I put a keyframe. Once I've zoomed in, I've scaled in. I then position the shot to the far left, and you can see that if I just click here, click on the shot, you can see the positioning here at 42, and then as it moves across, it'll go through 0 and it'll go to the right hand side. And you can do that because I've scaled in. So that's how I get basically a fake panning effect on my videos. I do use it a fair bit, usually with a static shot on a tripod, but it's a very simple technique just to add a little bit more motion to your shots, which can engage the viewer and the audience a little bit more. A couple of shots there of the city as I continue, and then another shot of us cycling. At this point I've got some voiceover in the background. I'll just play a few seconds of that. So far Vietnam has offered us a fair mix of quiet back roads, crazy city drive. So voiceover, it's something that I've only recently, maybe in the last 10-15 episodes I've been starting to do, but voiceovers are a brilliant tool to tell the story further. If this voiceover I'm using at the beginning is absolutely being used as an introduction voiceover. It's giving you an idea of where we are. If I just played these shots with no voice, it would be a lot different. So let's say if I silence them voices now, it will it'll just be a load of moving pictures, which is nice. You'd be looking at this and you wouldn't really know what's happening. Whereas the voiceover, because I didn't film any voiceover really, when I was filming the shots, didn't know what I was going to say. I've done this afterwards as I'm editing. I get my notebook and I script. I just write down here exactly what I'm going to say, and it differs, and I keep editing it, and then I record it using a microphone. I've got a couple of microphones. I'm currently using a lapel mic, but I'm just borrowing this at the moment. It's not actually mine, it's just a friend's. I normally use, I've got a Boya little mini shotgun microphone, but I've also used just normal headphones with a microphone. It does the job. So keep it pretty simple. Mix of quiet back roads, crazy city drive. So I go into the city to get that, again, contrast from rural to city. And then this bit here, there's some buses come past us and make a load of noise. So that sound you hear there, that noise of the horn, that's actually from a different clip, and I've taken the audio and overlaid it onto here just to get that feeling for the viewer of the busyness and what noise the horns make in Vietnam. From here, I go to a map, and I'm not going to go into detail on how I make the maps because I think that is a video in itself if you're interested. So if you are interested in seeing a video on how I make my maps, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll go and make that at a later date. But basically, I made these moving maps just to show the viewer where we are and where we're going. I think it's important on a travel video to have some sort of map, either at the beginning or halfway through really, but I usually would say at the beginning of the video it really sets the scene. So the first maps on this video appears at 30 seconds. This is a map in general to start with. It kind of shows you the overall route we've been taking, and then we have this map in detail here as I zoom in through the blue dotted line, and that's our route. I don't tell the audience that's our route, I let them work that out themselves. You don't want to spoon feed too much and say, well, this is the route we're taking. Just show the route, people will work it out. I think what I say is we've got 15 days to leave the country, and I'll just play a bit now. Only time will tell if that was a wise decision. I'll go back. We'd have less traffic, more nature, and an overall better experience in Vietnam. So yeah, I'm talking about the route we're taking down the Ho Chi Minh Road. And then from there, a zoom out transition here, so that's a smooth zoom out. I got that somewhere on the internet. Smooth zoom in, smooth zoom out. I'm not exactly sure where, but I'm sure you could find it for free. I didn't pay for that, just found it for free somewhere. And I come into this shot. Enjoy. So this shot of overhead drone shot of a worker with a basket on his shoulders. My aim here is for the viewer to not really know what that is, to kind of question and think, what is that? Is that an ant? It's quite hard to tell because it's not a natural thing you're used to seeing. But the second shot, as we get to the paddy fields and it starts panning around the mountains, the karst limestone, sets that scene of where we are. And I continue that music, but I've increased, as you see with the keyframes, the audio as I've stopped talking. You see some of these audio bits I've got here that they look detached from the clips, but they're actually not detached. They're just, I've double clicked them, and that allows you to detach an audio clip. That allows you to detach an audio clip there. So you can basically fade a sound into another and it makes it feel less jarring. Bit of Lucia sleeping, I'm sure she'll love that. And then into me talking. It is a vlog, so I absolutely have to do a bit of talking, and I think here I'm talking about how the views are beautiful, and Lucia is talking about how beautiful the views are. And that's why I've got this soft acoustic music for this point. And then by a minute, after this bit, there's a new scene, and it starts at this mural that we're sat at here. But with this new scene, I'll just play it through.
The road has suddenly gone really nice and quiet.
There's a change in music. That change in music is absolutely intentional. Like, you should never really, in my opinion, you should never really just have music just playing in the background. Music needs to be front and center and drives the story forward. Music it can bring out so much emotion, it can make the audience, it can invite the audience to feel something. So for me, I try to use music in that way and be really intentional about the music and when I use it. If I want the audience I want to invite them to feel differently, I'll stop the music, start new music, sometimes blend music out, blend music in. But here we go. So this one, I'll let you think about what this music means.
The road has suddenly gone really nice and quiet.
So that music there is just slowly building. It's just building slowly into it. So it's nothing too crazy. And then it slows down again. I get the music to go quieter whilst this young child here that we meet starts talking to us. I've put some subtitles where it's not 100% clear with the audio what he's saying. This young kid asks us where we're going. We talk to him. And it's quite a long interaction here. It goes on for about 45, 50 seconds of us talking to this young kid. But one of the reasons we're traveling is to see local people. It's one of our main reasons for being on a bicycle is you get to engage with locals all the time. So a big part of our videos has to be locals. If it's just about us, the videos don't achieve what I'm aiming to record. It's all about seeing the world through our eyes. In this scene, I was really lucky that I had the camera already set up and I was about to do a voice to camera, just talk to it. This kid came up and just started talking to us, so it works really well. You see me look at the camera and move it up a bit, so I wasn't ready for this kid to talk to us. And I just play it, so it's quite unedited. There's a clip there where the kid had just working out what he was going to say, and then he asked us where we're going and what we're doing. From there, I'm into a couple more shots here. So the music I started back at 1 minute 19 was really building for this moment, for here. So it's upbeat, it's to make the audience hopefully feel happy, seeing these beautiful pictures of the drone flying overhead. And the drone footage often can be overused by a lot of travel vloggers and videographers. So I'm trying to not overuse it and really just show the landscapes we're cycling through appropriately, just use it like another tool. So I have this, the drone is actually this shot here, it's just hovering. And then I zoom out, gives it effect that you've come out into the sky. And there's us flying down the road. So really simple, but the music, before it goes into the really party beat, I then let the music die down again. This is the 0-kilometer point of the Ho Chi Minh. So for this part, I want to again just give a little bit of background to where we are. I use some titles to give some more detail. And then we're talking about the fact we're at a 100-mile point, at a 0 marker on the Ho Chi Minh Road. And then there's a whole new scene. I struggled a little bit with how to start this. I wanted to include this because it really annoyed me and I wanted to remember it myself. So that's a lot of the reason I make the videos, is so in the future I can look back and remember the time I ordered chicken's toes without meaning to. I've put some big text there to make my point. And this video I'm talking about how I'm annoyed, but then at this point a young girl just asked me for a selfie. I included it because it's important, I think, for the audience again to see more locals and to see how they interact with us just randomly. Locals constantly in Vietnam and China asking us for selfies. So yeah, take a selfie, and that actually diffuses my anger because I'm annoyed about the feet, but she was quite nice about asking for a selfie, whereas a lot of people can be just quite in your face and just take one. So yeah, talk about how I'm annoyed. Don't just show the good stuff. If you're making a video, make it a point to film the bits where you're not as happy and it's not as rosy and nice, because they're the bits that people really want to see. They don't want to see everything going well, but they're the moments you don't want to get the camera out. So make an effort. If you're going to make a video, to get the camera out. And sometimes actually the way of getting the camera out can make you feel a bit better. So that's something I learned a long time ago. Film the bad bits. Attempt 2, ordered some more food. I use a bit of a sound effect when I'm talking about the food here. I'll just play it. Really subtle, just a pop at Banbeo, just to show what we've got there. Okay, food. We like to talk about food in our videos. We think it adds value to people, and it's quite interesting to see what we're eating because it changes so much. And really, on a bicycle tour, food is probably one of the most important things we do. We eat all the time. So I don't have any music, as you can see at the bottom. It's up to like this point, 4 minutes. The last music I had was at nearly the 2-minute point. So I had 1:50 without any music. And that's okay. Don't think you need to have music all the time. Put music in when you want the audience to feel something, and then let them use that music to invite them. So here, this music here, have a think about what this makes you feel. Okay, so that music, my intention with this was almost to be like a clock ticking. That beat's quite fast. With that time lapse there is the passage of time. And I'm about to start a fairly long piece where we don't have hardly any talking. I think from 4 minutes to, the next time I talk is a minute. So there's almost a minute with hardly any talking. There's about 5 seconds of talking there. So the story's just been told with the pictures, but the music also tells a story. So I have this. And transitioning with key parts of the music's important. Even though I usually pick music after I've made the edits, I'll fine tune and tweak it once I've added the music in. Lots of school kids, bridges, just showing us cycling. And at this point, so there's a mini story here which lasts for about 20 seconds.
Just being invited for some tea.
We're invited for tea. I show the house we're going in to get tea. I'll show us walking into the house. I show them serving us the tea. And then I put a bit of text here saying what we thought was going to be an invitation to drink tea turn into us drinking shots of homebrewed alcohol. And then the video of me drinking the alcohol, rough stuff. Showing the guy the map, he's asking what we're doing, where we're going. Don't need to say anything, just let the video do the talking. To Vietnam, then we're going back to Laos, then we're going to Cambodia. There we go, and then we leave. That in itself is a mini story within 20 seconds of us being invited in and out, and the music fits into that story of the time ticking, us going through, and us after drinking the shots, we were fairly keen to go. As much as it was super kind of that guy, we didn't want to hang around because there was more alcohol coming out and we had to cycle. So we left, and after that, that music ends.
There's a danger with stopping for a moment. People are going to be far too nice.
And a new piece of music starts. And that's a new story, it's a change. So the music has been used here in a way for me to show the audience there's a change happening now.
People are going to be far too nice.
This shot here, I wanted it to look a little bit secret camera-y, put it on top of a railing rather than the tripod. No panning on this one, so it's just static like a security camera almost. And here's the change. So this music here, it built for about 10 seconds before it got into the good stuff. The music where it's almost like, I wanted it to be like a Rocky 4, but slightly lower tempo, almost a montage video. So that's exactly what I think I've got here with this drone footage. I knew I had some nice drone footage. And actually for the next minute is basically just pretty pictures, but it's us going up mountains. And that's a story again in itself. not quite as clear cut as the beginning. So here's the beginning, is us leaving that house, going on these bridges, and then we start winding along these flat roads, but later we have to cook. Later, as this cloud comes in, the road gets worse and it gets more remote, and we start climbing. And that's all the way up to this point where I get a high drone shot to kind of show that we're now going high. And I use this as well to show a bit of elevation with this zoom out. I'll just play some of this. So some of this is a mixture of drone. These are just my normal camera. And by the way, any of the gear that if you're interested in what gear I use to film it, there's a video I've made. I'll put the link just here, and the link's in the comments as well, so you can see all the gear I use to film this. So yeah, just a good mix of shots. So from long distance, but that's zoomed in. We've got a GoPro showing one half of my leg, showing some cows. First person shot, so getting a mix of shots tries to keep the viewer interested. There, Lucia, shot of me, so it's like we've got two cameras, but we don't, we just pass the camera around. Some dogs, adding a little bit more things that are interesting. These kids, really interesting. Kids saying hello in Vietnamese, giving us the good hello, peace sign. And I haven't lowered the music, I've kept the music high because I want to keep the tempo high. And at this point the music's starting to, as you can hear. And then it continues for this shot, this drone shot, I'll show you here. So that's just me flying backwards, again getting a different shot with a smooth zoom out. And then we continue with these types of shots until the middle part here. We talk to the camera a little bit more and just update the viewer on where we are. So when you're recording, you've got to keep in your head, I need to just keep putting updates because you might want to use them in the future. The less voiceover you have to do, the better. If you can use in-footage talking, it's always better. Not nearly always better. Here we go. So that's just talking a little bit about the road. We're about 50 kilometers from the Laos border. Oh no, 5 kilometers from the Laos border. Different shot again. Another different shot showing the fog with the lights on. And there's the border with the lights on. Really simple shots. These are just kind of shown in order of where it happened. That's actually gone back. That was recorded before this, but just to show the rain. And then, boom, we're at the Laos border. Can't really film at borders. It's a little bit difficult. So us at the border, and we're talking. As you can see, the talking actually starts before the clip's shown.
Well, that was pretty easy.
There's something I do a fair bit, and it just reduces the overall length, and it gets you ready for what's coming. The way I do that is just by double clicking, again like I showed you earlier, onto there. If you double click it, it's slightly detached it, but it keeps it linked to that original video. I stop the music at the border, and then I start new music as I'm ready for the second map. I'll show you that music. Quick Croatian visa. This is proper. Welcome to Laos. Wait, that doesn't want to play that bit. Oh, computer's not enjoying that. She's working hard. Let me play it from here. Our plan from here is to cycle south through glorious Laos. Our plan is to follow the Mekong River all the way. So another map, but this time it's showing a completely different route and way. It's showing the future. So this is almost like in next episode, and that's the aim here really, is to show it in a map form rather than just showing the pure clips. With a voiceover again, a few clips talking about where we're going to be going, and that is our second time in Laos. I then link that to a outro. Again, if you'd like to know how I made this, put a comment below and let me know if you're interested. But yeah, made that this morning actually. It's the first time I've put an outro slide, a static image as the outro like this, and just going to see how it goes. I think it looks quite good. Return to Laos. Just a little thing you might not have noticed is this picture here isn't actually me. That's somebody who we met on the road and you'll be meeting in a future episode. That's pretty much it. That's my workflow pretty quickly. There's a lot more detail to it. I think in total, the amount of footage I used here was about 7 days worth of footage, which I filmed over 7 days, and I think it was about 4 or 5 hours worth of footage. So to get that down into 9 minutes, you can imagine there's a lot of watching that footage back, picking the best bits, and then putting it all into one clip here. It does take time, but with time it gets quicker and you realise different ways you do things, but it's also important to keep mixing it up. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, it would be awesome if you could give us a thumbs up, and it would be even better if you could subscribe to our channel. We'll be continuing our journey. Very shortly we're going to be going to South Korea and then Japan, and then in the future, in July, we're going to be going to the USA, flying to Alaska and cycling south. So lots of exciting things to come. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you like more of this type of content, just let me know and I will make it for you. Awesome. Enjoy your day.